Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I've done an update on my ice maker here, the Gen 2, which has been serving me really well for, I want to say like almost 5 years now. I really love this one, obviously much better than the Gen 1. I've done a bunch of videos, which you have probably seen. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Most of you don't even watch them. You watch like the last one, but you don't watch all of them. But I've done a series about the ice maker and some comparisons between 1 and 2, but mostly just kind of talking about the Gen 2 and how much I like it. When I got it, I purposely didn't do any maintenance or like really cleaning on it for the first 3 years, mainly because I wanted to be able to show you guys kind of what happens and like where the buildup happens and things like that. And it actually didn't turn out as bad as I thought. You can see that video on my YouTube channel. I think it says like finally opening up my ice maker after 3 years or something like that. But it really wasn't bad at all. Since then, I can't say that I've been getting better with the maintenance, and not because I don't know how to do it or don't want to, but again, I don't really have to do a whole heck of a lot just based on the kind of water that we use here and how the machine has been holding up since I got it. So it was about time to do a little bit of work on it and do a little bit of cleaning. So I thought I would do a follow-up video and just show you guys where things are at. I also wanted to do a follow-up about the squealing, and I realized I made a quick video saying that I had come up with what I felt was a solution to the squealing, but then I never followed up, so I will definitely talk about that in this video. So I'll see you in a little bit once I get this thing open and get my supplies together, and we'll go from there. Okay, I've got all my supplies here. I'm gonna use some vinegar. I have some just like basic, like a fresh ice machine cleaner. It doesn't really, it doesn't really work all that great, honestly. You need, well, we need here something a little bit more heavy duty, but I don't like running like really heavy duty, heavy chemical stuff through the ice maker. Even though, I could rinse it like a million times, I just don't like the idea of doing that and possibly like ingesting things. The Fresh is not terribly heavy duty. I mean, it does its job, but I don't run it through more than just like a couple times. But for the kind of hard water we have here, it's relentless. Like you really have to do a lot more. I also have my hose cleaner. It's this really long hose cleaner I use to clean these, and it actually gets like all the way, like really way up in there. I have to be careful not to get it stuck, but this is actually one of the best tools I bought for this. And I have my screwdriver, even though I keep these screws off on the lid so I can just quickly take the lid off if I need to look inside for any reason. And I only keep like 1 or 2 screws up at the top. It's just easier because I don't like having to do all that extra work. And especially if I need to get into the reservoir up here, like you have to take the whole side off so you don't cut yourself. And it becomes like really just a lot of extra work. And I've mentioned before, I have chronic illness, so I have to be very careful and sparing with how I use my energy, and anything that's gonna just like take up too many spoons, I just don't want to do. So I try to make it as easy on myself as possible to get in here and take care of things. So let me get it open and let's see what's going on in there. I don't think it's going to be that much, but we'll see. So I always check in here. That's one of the things I always try to do. You can see this like so much lime and calcium buildup. The water here, we've lived here almost 30 years, and the water's always been a little rough. But I want to say it's gotten, I think as far as the way they treat the water, it's definitely had an effect on the different aquariums and stuff that I have, of which I have like 3. The amount of lime scale and deposits that have built up on the aquariums over even like a short period of time has just exponentially gone up over the years that we've lived here. Like it's just gotten ridiculous, I would say, in the past couple of years. So we don't drink this water. Like we never have dranken. I was going to say dranken. No, we've never drank water out of the tap directly. We installed under the sink reverse osmosis system that we have here. And this is mostly where our water comes out of. And we also have distilled water that we use for things as well. But the tap, I would never drink anything that came out of that thing. So the buildup is something that I always check here and just try to clean out if there's any inside. But it's actually very clean in there. Rarely do I actually see too much going on in there. It's mostly on the outside as the water is evaporating that you get a lot of the buildup. So I don't usually see too much in here, but I just like to check if there's any mold or anything like that. Okay, so opening up the reservoir, you can see it is pretty disgusting in there. So this is kind of what I was hoping to be able to show you guys when I first had it and didn't clean it, but actually this was not in here at all if you look back at that video. So this is more the content I was trying to make by endangering myself. So this is more what you'll see when you don't take care of your ice maker. This is absolutely the kind of hell, you know, that you're gonna experience. And this is the stuff that, you know, if you think about this times 1,000, as far as like when you go to fast food places and they have those huge ice machines and, you know, for your soft drinks and stuff, they do not clean those things the way that they should. I can almost guarantee you that they don't. And all of this stuff is going into your ice. The ice may be coming out clear or, you know, a little cloudy or whatever. It's not obviously not coming out green, but you can see in here the kind of mold and sludge that builds up in this reservoir. And this is just in, you know, a tabletop unit. Imagine this in one of those industrial ice makers. If you do not clean your ice machine, if you do not run cleaning fluid through it, if you do not check the reservoir, this is the kind of stuff that you're gonna be ingesting and putting into your body. And mold is so awful for you. You don't want this to be going on. So I'm glad that I actually have something to show you guys, because in the 4 years that I've had this, I've never opened it up and seen it like this before. Maybe a little on the sides, but nothing like this like pool down here. So I'm actually kind of happy about this, which seems sort of strange, but I'm happy to be able to show you guys what it can be like. And I've gotten plenty of messages from people who've said that they've opened up their ice machines and been shocked, you know, to see this. And yeah, it's shocking. It's even more shocking to think that you've been ingesting this completely, constantly, when you drink whatever you drink with ice in it. But it's fixable. It's not a situation where you have to throw away the whole ice machine, or it's not a situation where it's like, oh, this ice machine is terrible and I'm going to get a new one. You just clean it. That's all. And that's, I think, a lot of the confusion when it comes to people who buy ice machines. They think that there's something wrong, you know, with their ice machine when it looks like this. And the only thing that's wrong is you aren't taking care of it. You're not cleaning it. You're not doing the maintenance, and people don't necessarily, want to do that maintenance. They don't want to put the work in weekly to open this thing up and clean it. They just want to put some liquid in it and run it through a couple times and think that that's going to work. And I'll show you that that really doesn't. I mean, if I just ran the stuff through like it says, like fill it, put it in, add some water, and run the ice machine a couple times, it does not clean this. It is not going to take care of buildup like this. So even that is something that people need to realize. The stuff they tell you to pour in your ice machine is not going to get rid of this. It might break it down a little bit more so that it comes out even more in your ice, but you have to get in here and you have to check it. And I think that people don't want to do that. And then they end up with stuff like this, or they end up getting sick and they're like, I hate my ice machine, I'm throwing it out. And that's not how you handle it. How you handle it is you change your habits and you take care of the machine that you purchased and you put the work into maintaining it properly so it doesn't get like this. So let me do a couple of just regular flushes with the ice cleaning stuff, and then we'll open it up again and you'll see how it really hasn't changed much. So you pour this whole thing in, and then you fill this up twice, pour 2 of these of water in, and then you run the machine, and it says for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. I don't know. It basically says a lot of things. And this is for, technically this is for all freestanding ice machines. I don't really think this works. I think that you have to use, I wish I still had that bottle of stuff that we used to use, but even that, like I said, is not going to be enough to deal with what's in there. This is just going to kind of clean out some of the hard water and break things up a little bit and have it come out a little easier, but I'll show you. I'm going to put this in and then I'll run it a little bit and then we'll come back. So I'm actually not even going to put in 2 things of water because I want it to be like even more concentrated when I do this. The one thing about this is I love the front, but the buttons are a little rough to find. Okay, all right, so we'll let this go several cycles and then I'll show you the inside. Okay, so it's been, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 25 minutes. I repeated the cleaning cycle on this like maybe 4 or 5 times, running it through. So we're going to go over and look at the reservoir, and you're going to see that, again, it didn't do anything. It sort of, sloshed it around a little, maybe broke it up a little, but as you can see, the ice, do they actually call this cleaner? Yeah, ice machine cleaner doesn't actually do anything. Not for mold, anyway. It might do something for lime and lime scale buildup, but when it comes to the actual inside of your reservoir after 4 or 5, running through of this cleaner, it didn't clean anything. So that's what I'm trying to kind of reiterate to you guys, that you do have to do this cleaning yourself. You got to get in there, you got to wipe it down. You can run some cleaner through it if you want, or vinegar and stuff like that, but you have to get in here, got to get some gloves, you got to wipe this down. And depending again on your water, where you have your ice maker located, you don't want to put your ice maker where I have mine. So I'll give you an example. The ice maker normally sits right here. It's next to the air fryer, it's next to the oven, it's next to our slushy machine, it's next to a lot of heat sources. So when you have standing water in there and it just sits and it's warm, you're going to get mold. I mean, that's just inevitable, right? That's science. You want to keep it in a location that's not going to get as much mold if you can, if you have the counter space to be able to do that. If not, and you're going to keep it somewhere where it's going to just build up mold, you have to open it up and you have to clean it. If you want to have an ice maker, you have to do the work to maintain it and not blame the manufacturer or blame the machine, okay? It's you. The problem is coming from inside the house. If you take care of these, they will run well. I've had this thing for almost 5 years and I don't take care of it well, mainly so that I can create content like this for you guys. But if I did, it would probably run even better and even longer. So as of now, the Gen 2 is serving me extremely well. I am going to going forward, since I'm not going to make more content like this for you guys, I'm going to take care of it and clean it properly and do what I need to do, whether that's weekly or monthly maintenance. I will take care of that now that I've been able to actually create the content that I wanted to by destroying my health and this and this ice machine. So I'm going to get in here and I'm going to clean this out and get it all cleaned out. I'm going to do the hoses and then I'll come back and show you the final result. So I'm doing final cleanings, run-throughs right now. A little bit of vinegar, hot water, not boiling, but like, you know, close to boiling. And I'll do this a bunch of times, like maybe, I don't know, for like about a half hour. I'll just keep kind of running it through and refreshing the water and the vinegar. As you saw before, I was cleaning out the reservoir. I use vinegar, I use a little cleaning vinegar. I run hot water through the hoses and clean the hoses, and that actually usually gets out a lot of the stuff that gets kind of trapped. There's a pocket of space down here just as it goes in, and if you don't have a tool to kind of get up in there, there's a lot of like some of the mold that gets flushed out from the reservoir can get kind of trapped and collect in there. So if you have the tool like that I showed you, you can get up in there and get a lot of that out. Actually, I see a little bit of buildup in that hose. I may have to get in there and clean it a little better, or that's just the lighting. That might be just the lighting. But it gets up in there. Sometimes you have to kind of struggle to pull it out, but it works really well. And then when you pull it out, a lot of stuff drains out with it. I'll usually clean this out like you saw, and then I'll just run the cleaning cycle for a while and just let it cycle through. After that, I make a batch of ice, and then I toss that batch. And then after that, it's good to go. So the squealing situation, I apologize for making that video saying that I was gonna explain what I found out and then never getting back to it. I think I just forgot or got distracted. There are a bunch of reasons for the squealing. It can sometimes be the internal mechanisms, as far as like being like, sometimes it can be the fan, sometimes it can be like the regulating system as far as how it cools. Sometimes it can be up top here, that little chamber where, you know, the ice comes through and it cuts and it comes down the chute. Sometimes it can be that mechanism that's like either not seated correctly or a little rusty, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that you kind of have to check, and sometimes the checking of it does require you to take the whole unit apart and get in there and check everything. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So what I found was, when we had the side reservoir, this thing attached, oops. So if you don't have one of these, this well, it attaches to the side, and then the hose that goes to the tank runs through here. And then you put the reservoir on top, and the water just continuously feeds through, and you don't have to constantly pour it in down here. What I found was that the continuous flow of water means that the ice maker is kind of always running, like always cooling, especially, is the point I'm trying to make. So you have water constantly running through these pipes. It's constantly making ice. It's constantly cold. And what happens is it starts to kind of, I don't want to say freeze up, but it gets to the point where you have to defrost it more if it doesn't sort of go onto a defrost setting on its own. And it starts to build up in here in that little chamber where the ice comes out. And that's where, for us, that's where we got the squealing as it was trying to push through the ice, but it was already kind of needing a defrosting. Once we took that side reservoir off, and the only time we fill it is when it needs to be filled. So when it says, you know, needs more water, we put more water in. Once we got rid of the continuous flow of water from the side tank, it does not squeal, unless it needs to be cleaned out, and it needs to be, and that includes like up top and in that space in there, and even sometimes the reservoir itself, when it gets gunked up with mold and stuff, that flow is disrupted. So the squealing is usually a good indication that you need to clean it, but it also could be something more inside, something more internal. And you won't know, unfortunately, until you test a couple of things. So a few people that had messaged me, I asked them, are you using that side reservoir? Are you using the tank? Because that for us was the main contributing factor. I don't want people to have to go in and take this whole thing apart and take all the mechanisms off and get in there to see what's going on. And one gentleman did do a great breakdown of that on his YouTube channel. If I can find it again, I'll link it, where he took the whole thing apart and he shows you how to kind of pull all the components out and look at all those individual pieces that I mentioned and oil areas and stuff like that. I cannot do all that, and I did not want to do all that. And I was trying to find other alternatives before I would have to do all that. And what I found was removing that reservoir, that side tank, and just filling it with ice when it needs to have ice in it, and allowing it time to kind of go into that defrost. It's supposed to do it on its own, but it doesn't always. And I think especially when it's always running, when you have that reservoir in there, it makes it less likely to do the defrost. So when it makes ice and then it runs low on water, it has a chance to kind of cool down, let's say, in most simplistic terms. And I find that it doesn't end up getting too cold and creating a frost issue, or where it's too icy and it's too cold and the ice can't move through smoothly, and that's when we start getting that squealing. So for us, that's what the solution was, just not using that tank, only filling it when it needs to be filled, letting it run through all the water and tell us that it needs to, ice needs to be made, allowing it to kind of shut down, cool down, defrost before it starts a new cycle again. For other people, I don't know if that's going to be your solution. I couldn't say. You may have to troubleshoot it, but first and foremost, maybe try that if you are using that side tank. Maybe it might be as simple as you have too much water in the system. Sometimes also, I don't know if you notice this in your house or apartment, you can get that high-pitched squealing when there's air in the lines, in the water lines. Something sort of similar happens with the ice machine too occasionally. So it could be a variety of things that you're hearing. It's best to troubleshoot before you try to break down the whole thing and put yourself through that process just to find out that that's not the issue, right? Try the simplest things first before you do all that. You may find that the solution is simple like we did. So I think that's all. I'm going to finish doing a few more cleaning cycles and then get this system back up and running. I really hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I hope that you are able to find solutions to your problems. If you got a Gen 2 because of my channel, I hope you're liking it. Let me know if you guys are enjoying your Gen 2s. I know a couple of people said that they just don't like the GE appliances, and that's fine too. I have not had any problems with this. Like I said, it's been almost 5 years, and I'm hoping it's going to continue to, work really well for me going into another 5 years. But if I do decide to buy another ice maker or to replace this for some reason or another, I might try a different brand or a different model. Maybe they would have come out with, much better designs by then as far as the internal systems and stuff like that. Maybe by the time I decide to buy another one, I may not necessarily go with another GE, but I have not had any problems with the Gen 2. I'm very happy with this, especially compared to the trash that was the Gen 1. And if they put out like a Gen 3 or another model, I might consider trying that. I don't have a problem with their service. I don't have a problem with their app. I don't have a problem with anything GE. I don't have an issue with the company. I think a lot of people don't like the company, so they don't like the company's appliances and blah, blah, blah. I don't have a problem with that. So as long as it works for me and it continues to work well, I'm going to stick with it and, continue to buy, maybe different iterations of this ice machine if they come out with more. We'll just have to see. I hope this has been helpful. I really appreciate all you guys who have been kind of discovering the channel and sticking with the channel and this content for as long as you guys have. Definitely let me know if you guys enjoy your Gen 2s or if you've had any problems. I got mine very early. I also want to point out, I think I may have mentioned it on my channel, like I saw that a Gen 2 was coming out. Not too long after I did, not too long after, I think I made a post about it on social media, and I said, oh, this looks really good. I think I bought one not too soon after they first came out, and I got mine at Best Buy. So I don't know, like some people reported they had problems with Gen 2s and like that they were just made badly and things like that. And I don't know where you guys got yours. I don't know if you got them from a third-party reseller or whatever, or like what generation of the Gen 2s. I think I got one of the earlier ones because it was really, really new and really expensive when it came out. But I think I got one very early. So it could be that the later ones, maybe, they just got sloppy, kind of like the Pelotons. I still have a first generation Peloton bike over there that is just amazing and nothing compared to the crap they put out now, which was like these mass produced things that they made during the pandemic, you know, and they fall apart. I literally got one, oh God, forever ago. I can't even tell you how long ago, but it's one of the original ones, and it's sturdy as hell and runs incredibly well. We haven't had any problems with it except for like a loose pedal or something that we fixed. So it could be like, as things get, you know, over manufactured, the quality, you know, goes down, and that might be why you're having trouble. I couldn't say, but mine has been great. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you guys that decided to get one are also happy with yours. So I'm going to finish this up, get this video put together and put up on YouTube, and I don't think I'll see you guys later because I've gotten the content that I wanted to show you about the mold and everything, and I don't want to keep ingesting mold to show it to you. So I think this probably will be the last video about my ice maker, unless I decide to get a new one, and then I'll make a new video about my new ice maker and how much I love it or whatever. But until then, I think this is goodbye, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the series, and I hope it's helped you guys in some way. And if you just can't get enough of my horrendous voice, you can always look at any of my other content on any of my other channels or on my blog and stuff like that. I do a lot of other different kinds of content aside from making videos about my ice maker. I write a lot of essays. I talk about TV shows and books and Jem and The Holograms and all kinds of fun things. So I think my website, thewebrecluse.blog, is on my channel, but if not, feel free to check out my content all over social media and TikTok and other places if you just can't get enough of me. So bye for now, and thanks again, and good luck with all of your ice making adventures.